Welcome back. Today we have a returning guest. This is Suzanne, and she was here a month ago, and her hip had been bothering her. And she tried all sorts of different things and really had not gotten any sustained relief. And so to start with, we're going to check in to see how she's doing. And then I have a plan based on just what we knew last time, but I want to talk you through that before we get going. So how has it been going?
The last time that I was here, when we had that session, for 2 days afterwards, I felt like everything was completely gone. I felt really a lot of relief. And then after those 2 days, things came back a little bit, but it was like reduced, so improvement.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so last time what we did is really just get symmetry back in her core and her limbs on how they're moving and interconnecting with each other. But there's a deeper layer, and she's got some really interesting injuries in her past, which kind of support this deeper layer playing a part. So before I get into that, let me introduce myself and welcome to our new subscribers. I'm Kara Lindell. I'm the founder of the Bridging Institute and the Bridging Technique, and it plays off of my background as a movement specialist and a systems engineer, where we just look at things differently and take a different approach to problem solving and then putting your movement back together. So a couple of things that happened to Suzanne over the year. You've fallen a couple of times, right?
A lot.
So what are two that kind of stand out?
So probably one was getting, there's so many, but like one was just getting hit by a heavy kind of swing, like not like a playground swing, but one of those bigger ones that people sit on. So it was like a big swing came back and just hit me and knocked me back. And then I've also had like some gymnastics falls, and I fell off the bunk bed when I was little, and
oh boy,
a bunch of stuff like that.
Okay, so the thing that I'm suspicious of related to the hip, and I want to talk this through, the middle is where our diaphragm muscle is, and it connects, it's held in place by a little muscle that connects to the spine in the back. And then that same spot on the spine is where our hip flexor connects, and that goes to here, this part of our legs. And so if that hip flexor is off, it's going to cause probably some hip pain, back pain. But also, the hip flexor can often be off because of a diaphragm issue. And she got hit a couple of times hard, like right in the middle, which can traumatize that diaphragm muscle and just how it interacts with all the core muscles. So what we're going to do is recreate the scene of how these injuries kind of happened. She landed face down. So we're going to have her face down, but we're going to put her on top of a couple of peanut balls so that we can restore some of that bouncy movement through her middle and then get that working better with your legs. So that's our game plan for today, but I wanted to make sure you understand why we're doing that. So I want you to kneel and then on your belly. And many of you know who've watched other episodes, we do check in just to see how all the movement's going. We're going to do that at the end today. Okay, is your head okay?
It's okay.
You can want it just comfortable. Okay. It won't be for that long. Okay, so first I want to check what's going on here. So she's on something that's soft and moving, and there's nothing moving back here. And I also want to check the hips, because that's what's bothering her. And this is the right one, which does not bother her. Or wait, this is the one that bothers you, right?
It does.
Okay, that's the one. Got it mixed up. Okay, and then the left. So up and out. Okay, good. So both of them actually, when I go to lift, she kind of like protected a little bit. Do you feel like you're going to fall?
I don't feel like I'm going to fall, but I think that's
they bother. Okay, they bother back here. And it's interesting, like if I just kind of think of the contour of her back, it actually divots in a little bit here. Are your legs comfortable with where they're at?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to also grab, if you're used to me working with my little peanuts, I call them my magic erasers, but right now we're actually going to use a big one, and it's deflated, and you're like, blow it up. It's like, no, I actually want it soft because it's going to conform better to her, provide really gentle support, and we just want gentle support because her poor muscles are still a little traumatized. So just rocking back and forth. But because she's on peanuts, she's rocking back and forth from the front side also. And so the whole idea is to match up what's going on the front and the back. And then it all relaxes and lets her legs move differently and takes the stress off the lower back and the hip. So that's why. And I'm just going to keep going back and forth a little bit until I feel the movement just kind of melt away and change. And I'm gradually moving down toward where the lower back is. So if she got hit from the front, the backside got traumatized too, just based on how she landed. And with the swing incident, she got hit on the front, but landed on the back. So it's kind of a 1-2 punch. And, those were a long time ago. We don't know exactly the details. And as much as she remembers, it's only a portion of what really happened. So we just keep rocking, and the body usually just guides us to where the impact is and where it needs a little bit more support. And I'm coming down lower and lower. And does it feel okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. Because the movement's starting to go more to one side than the other, and so we're going to follow it. Because chances are she didn't land just square on to her entire back or entire front, that it was off to the side a little bit. So it's kind of coming from right to left, and you can see that I'm changing my tempo, and it's almost like bread kneading. I'm just kind of going into it because we want all the muscles to shift around a little bit so they can match up and work together better. And I'm going to change so that we're lengthwise and longer area of muscles that have to work together. If you ever have the chance to see any animations of muscle layers, a lot of people online you can find, but the layers that support the spine, they're like 3 layers deep. We have all sorts of muscle layers in the back and in the spine. And so I'm going a little bit quicker, and all of her muscles seem to be moving a lot easier together. And I'm going to come up a little bit because the diaphragm is higher on the front side than it is on the back side, and I want to make sure that we have movement happening equally through all of those sections. Here. Okay, and I'm going to go sideways again, but a little higher up. And there we go. So I'm going to recheck and just see, how is this working for us? So do I have some movement? And you can tell it bounces now, and I'm not pushing any harder. And here, and it actually feels like a softer curve here. It doesn't feel as pronounced. I'm going to lift legs one more time because that's where you could notice that it was tight. Because if you can still notice it, we'll do a little bit more. So it's actually easier for me to bend the knee now. Okay, how was that?
Good.
And this one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, it's funny. The left was causing it.
Mm-hmm.
Ah. All right. I want to check. So I'm going to hold at her ribs and pelvis on the opposite because we should get some crisscross motion when these work nicely together. So there's one combination and the other, and that seems pretty balanced. Does either one feel different to you?
Mm-mm.
I'm just going to kind of, you know what? This combo feels just a little bit more mobile. So I'm going to hold it and rock just a little bit. And there. Because where her ribs are, that's where the diaphragm connects to. And so if the ribs move easily, that usually means the diaphragm's moving nicely. There. Actually, this feels softer through here as it's moving. Okay, just because, let's check and see if your shoulders are moving okay. All right, both match. So push back up on your knees. I'm going to get rid of these. Okay. And go ahead and just start with, just lay straight back down.
On my back?
On your stomach.
Okay.
Because I want to recheck without being elevated. So we might need to repeat that. How's that feel?
Good.
Alrighty. And this one?
Good. A little stiffer, but still
Is the
good.
stiffness up in here or is it in the hip?
It just feels like heavier.
Oh, okay. Well, tell you what. You lift this one, lift it up, and then put it down, and then lift this one. Are they similar or does it?
This one feels
heavier or something.
Okay, so I want you to lift this one. And what's interesting is the same direction from right to left that we were working through, that supporting with the peanut. So I'm just going to take her leg and kind of use it as a big lever to stretch through the middle. Okay, now try the same lifting.
It's better.
I'm looking for, are they similar to each other?
They're similar.
Okay, and then we'll see if she rocks here. Oh, very nice. Okay, so now flip over and let's do a quick check on the usual things that we check. And so make sure legs feel the same going forward. Beautiful. Good, and I'm gonna just lift and take it through. Wow, that's super easy.
Yeah.
I don't remember being that easy last time. There. Okay, and I'm going to roll you toward me. Alrighty. And then I'm going to come around. Catch the other roll. And this side's a little bit better, so I'm just going to rock it a few times and then hold. That just helps the core and the arms and the legs organize themselves. And then usually working with the good side helps something in the middle match up there. That's so much better. Okay, I want you to sit up. Okay. And I'm going to hold in the middle around where her ribs are, which is where the diaphragm is. I'm just going to go from side to side. Oh my gosh, it just feels so easy. Just like you're like a bowl of water just sloshing around, which is in the core, we always talk about strength, but actually having some dynamic movement ability is a really good thing. Goodness, that's really nice. So stand up. Let's also make sure that that's good. Okay. And so we just want to make sure she sways equally from side to side. Can you tell how loose that feels?
It's a lot looser.
Side to side and then forward and back. Awesome. Okay, sit down. Okay. And so just to recap, what we did was took a problem-solving step of going after some of her injuries from the past and how they affected her core. And it was the relationship that connected between core and the legs where she was having an issue. And even though these injuries were from a long time ago, they had shifted the position of her lower core, and it just couldn't connect to her leg the right way. So that put stress, and that's why none of the other things you were doing actually really helped that much, because the alignment was off. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like with your car driving on a flat tire. So anyway, that was a super example. So glad you were able to come back. Give Suzanne a thumbs up and hit subscribe to follow our channel for more really interesting examples of how we can solve pain and help you move better. And we also teach the technique for professionals. We have upcoming workshops. They're on the website, the dates. And if you'd like to be a guest, the information is on the website as well. So see you in the next episode. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.